So I'm going to make this very short. I'm very sorry I have to rush, but I teach in the evenings, as people do who teach grad students. And I'm just here to really briefly pitch what you also have on a flyer coming around. By the way, I do have that answer to the question that was asked before. What if we use Copilot? That's licensed. That's a walled garden kind of license that you asked. The official answer I got from the library is to say, no, you cannot. It is not compliant with our license agreements. Only open sources can be uploaded even in a fenced garden type of system that way. So briefly that answer while I'm here. But those are the kinds of questions that the Center for Faculty Excellence, which I represent here, the AI associates role that I have with that center is what I represent here. That is where those kinds of questions are hopefully ultimately being quick fixed, linked to, or answered directly. So what we're in the process of doing, and I'm also at home in the School of Public Affairs teaching policy analysis to graduate students on the side here. That's not my main role, but I have AI thoughts about that too. That's why I'm here. And so what you're seeing on that handout is our invitation to tell us what kind of resources you'd like to see. And obviously what you just heard, for example, is not what we want to replicate on the CFE site. What you heard earlier from and know exists, for example, through the Office of Academic Integrity is not what we want to replicate. But what we're trying to do is connect those different resources at the Center for Faculty Excellence so that somebody who is like new to AU, wants to know about the policy, et cetera, quick resources, can sort of land and be connected. And so that's what we have there for now, and you can find the link to that. I started building that, and Anna Olsen had to leave with her help as well, kind of starting on 3 rubrics, and I think they resonate with what has been talked about today. Teaching with AI, that's what we all grapple with. Teaching about AI, so kind of introducing students to AI, whether or not you're actually using it, applying it, etc. So the first part is more about like, what does your syllabus say? How are you integrating it into the assessments, that kind of thing. So you're asking those kinds of questions. What do you allow? What do you not allow? How do you scaffold assignments? So teaching with AI is that, whereas teaching about AI would be more the conceptual, epistemological kind of questions. Any one of us, even if you do or don't allow, or if you have students wanting or not wanting to use it, you can still integrate AI in a way to teach about it. And lastly, kind of more the skills teaching AI, kind of prompt generation, that kind of thing. So that's how that page starts. For the remainder then, and I have this here in front of me for those of you wanting to navigate there, we're starting to build resources on advising students about AI on your course. So we have sort of language, syllabus language, which you can also find on the SharePoint site in much, much more detail. So this is public facing, sort of quick fix points to remember. Teaching with AI, kind of building resources out, like maybe handouts, like, top 3 things or top 10 things I can do to get my students exposed and get myself exposed and kind of in AI realms. Resources to instill, so we're linking, for example, the resources that you just heard about, the Credo modules, etc. We're linking to those and giving you ideas of like where to find, those literacy connections, so resources to instill AI literacy, and last but not least, and very importantly, addressing AI policy violations, where the Office of Academic Integrity, for example, then comes into play. So those 4 realms are what we're trying to build out, and the links exist, and you being taken to additional resources. But we would love to hear your thoughts, and please submit that about where you see this headed. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to animate all this. You can also use that QR code over there. So we have that website going that's linked to. I also have a few words about the program areas. And then the CFE AI advising. So I serve as this faculty associate there. I'm not an AI specialist. Let me put this compared to many others who you have heard talk here. I have dabbled in and learned about AI in relation to course design, etc., for a long time. So that part is more my wheelhouse. And I'm also there to sort of connect with academic integrity. So, you know, if you're finding, oh, there's a lot of violations, how can I tweak my assignments, a way about teaching, etc., that's something I can advise on. So the questions, needs there are about the resources, but also come see me, tell me what it is that I can possibly help with or connect you with. We have a kickoff event of so-called communities of practice that we would like to launch across campus. And again, I want to really make sure that you understand there's a lot going on in the different schools, and that is sort of your first point of attention, like this COGOT event today. And we are there to help connect those dots to the extent we can, or complement them. So let us know what we can help with. And then lastly, pay attention to the Ann Farron Teaching Conference in January, Thursday, January 8th probably. And that also has a couple of AI panels that we will facilitate. So that's really all I had to say. So thank you so much. I thank you, Guanoli. This is amazing. I feel like we've been drinking from a fire hose, many of us. So I really appreciate having us here and would love to hand it back to you and others. Maria,
Any question from the audience?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think this other question is, how are you able to involve, and do you have meetings for adjuncts?
So I meet with any faculty, so adjuncts or not, that doesn't matter to me. Like, I have office hours and can be connected, so by all means do that. Walty, WALTI at american.edu, you'll find me on that page. So these events, all of these are accessible to all faculty.